So joining me now is Kieran, one of my nemesis from Melbourne. Lovely Alpha Legion army. So, want to talk us through this? What was sort of your theme and your background with this?
Well, it started off as a purely Zone Mortalis force based on the awesome scene from Wolf King when the Alpha Legion board Russ's capital ship. So I started off with just the 3 Terminator units and the Leviathan with this Delegatus, and that was my Zone Mortalis force.
It's a lovely little model there, and that's the limited Tribune from Forge World.
Yeah.
And you've given him sort of like almost like a servo arm to hold his combi weapon.
Yeah. So I wanted to have the power dagger on him, but I also kind of wanted to go for I wanted to have like a little gladius because in Legion in particular, Alpha Legion always mentioned as fighting with the gladius. So that was that idea, and just added the scales and that kind of stuff.
So similar to the Ultramarines in that regard.
Exactly. Yeah. They've definitely got that kind of Greek theme throughout.
So this is obviously a very elite force. Lots of veterans, seekers, Terminators with combi weapons, lots of combi weapons. I think you possibly have the most plasma death out of anyone here.
Yeah, probably. I do love my combi weapons. As it was a Zone Mortalis force, with the reaction fire rule, having combi weapons on Terminators, especially Tartarus who can actually overwatch, is a fantastic thing because it gives me the option, I can either come in from an outflanking position and waste someone's squad, or if someone gets the jump on me, I can if I roll that initiative test, I'm firing plasma straight into them. So it's fantastic, and that can absolutely devastate a charge and just stop them dead in their tracks essentially. Yep. It was an elite force initially, but I've since added 3 tactical squads so that I can run Coils of the Hydra. But usually I would run either Chosen Duty with my Delegatus, so to make the veterans troops, or I could also run Pride of the Legion.
Do you run him as Ortelion Score or as just a Delegatus?
I would like to use him as Score in the future, just so I can choose my Warlord traits. It's fantastic being able to choose to infiltrate or to make enemy reserves at -1, and that can add to the bonus with Coils of the Hydra. -2 is fantastic.
Yep, but, very versatile character in that regard.
Absolutely.
But picking a Warlord trait alone is really good.
It's really good. Yeah, it's very good, and he's super cheap as well. And I like to play super cheap characters. I have Alpharius, but I've never used him. My usual go-to is just Delegatus. I don't have any big combat units. I've got good combat units. So I've got the Terminators, and I've also got the Dawnbreakers now, stolen from the Blood Angels.
Yeah, what brought that on? So, I mean, I know you and I had a couple of conversations about different options.
Yeah. I was going to go with the Angel's Tears, but you talked me out of that with being a little bit too cheesy, and I wouldn't have been happy with it myself.
Yeah, you're a cool dude. It'd be horrible to lose all those friends,
Exactly, and they would have been absolutely devastating with Alpha Legion. If I could give them the mutable tactic for tank hunting. Tank hunting and rending is a pretty brutal combo. Deep striking in with the Damocles. So
no scatter deep strikes.
I've also got the boxes on those dudes, so that no dead scatter.
And you can combine raid grenades and venom spheres and all that good stuff into the one squad.
Yeah, so they would have been brutal. And maybe that'd be something for the future, but I definitely won't go all out with the assault cannons. So I figured these guys aren't that great. They're a nice little kind of dart, maybe an assassination unit, but they were just so fun to do and to convert up. They're based on the Dark Fury models, but there's a lot of conversion work in there, different weapons and stuff.
Do you want to explain what the deal is here?
This guy has a bit of history with Macro and I. He was inspired by the art from Forge World Book 8. There's a great piece of art in there featuring a white scar, in inverted commas, and you can see thin little blue chips showing through his armour. So he's actually an Alpha Legion who's hastily repainted his armour to full the white scars. The Dragorian detail isn't what it should be, but from a distance he looks the deal. But he didn't come off so well when I used him against you, did he?
No, not his finest hour. But the Mongolian rape train has 0 breaks, as we always say.
Yeah, he got taken out by a sergeant.
Yeah, but that's those power glaives. They're nasty.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they're adding a bit of combat punch to this army, and I think that's the biggest thing that lets down Alpha Legion Force is they really lack a hard-hitting close combat unit. I mean, yeah, you can take something like Legion Terminators, and you've got some great special rules you can give them with immutable tactics. But at the end of the day, when you go up against something like, say, World Eaters, Legion Terminators, they're coming at you with 2 extra attacks.
Exactly. So the secret with the Alpha Legion is that, they are amazing in the deployment phase, essentially. But once the game's going, they're regular Marines. Obviously, you can have a lot of units outflanking, which is fantastic if there are multiple objectives, or if you need to get to a back corner. I often find that just having a little tactical squad or 2 in reserve, they're not going to do anything. But if they can get to an objective, they could score me, 1, 2, or 3 points, and that is absolutely fantastic. I don't care if they die. I don't care if they, don't kill anything. If they can get that objective, that's all that really matters, and just leave the hard, the heavy lifting to the elite infantry. But like you were saying, once they're on the table, they're nothing special unless you take Tank Hunter. But then again, they're nothing great in combat.
It's that sort of juxtaposition. You've got these cheap disposable guys. You can go around, cap a couple of objectives. Yeah. Meanwhile, the actual killing power of the Force, there is still quite a lot of objective capturing capacity. Veterans, Terminators.
All of my elite units can capture, even the Seekers. So, I've got a lot of scoring for sure. But adding that little bit of redundancy has been fantastic. Like at the last ACT event, I didn't have the tacticals, so I was playing Pride of the Legion, and I struggle with numbers a bit. So this time around, just having a unit that is expendable really suits the Alpha Legion theme, and it's fantastic for games as well.
So Seekers over. Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
They're veterans.
Yeah.
So Seekers over, we'll say, a certain Alpha Legion specialist unit.
By a mile. Yeah, by a mile. Since the Seekers had their combi weapons decreased in points down to 5 points, they're absolutely fantastic. So, ballistic skill 5, and with their chosen unit, they're hitting on 2s, re-rolling 1s because of preferred enemy, and then with the Scorpius shots, they're wounding on 3s for Marines, and re-rolling 1s again at AP 1. So it's AP 2, sorry. So they're a really solid unit. They're fragile, and if you get in combat, they're worse than tactical Marines essentially because they don't even have the option for a combat weapon. But shooting, they're fantastic.
And obviously, you haven't used many of the Alpha Legion specialist ammunition in the army. Just a bit of a waste of points, isn't it?
Way too expensive. That's why I have combi weapons.
Yeah, that makes sense. So vehicles, obviously, you've got a lot of Dreadclaws and a Dreadnought drop pod at the back there.
Yeah.
So, what was the thinking behind that?
Well, originally that was part of the theme. So I started off with the Zone Mortalis Force with the Terminators and the Leviathan, and then I wanted to expand to 2,500 points, and I had a chat to Kimmel over in the US, and he suggested stick with the orbital assault theme, and Dreadclaws fit perfectly into that. Also, being a dedicated transport for the Terminators is fantastic. I wish they were a dedicated transport for veterans. But they're really good. They give you so much maneuverability. They're surprisingly difficult to kill with their Jink and being able to go into flyer mode. Not many people come equipped to take on 4 flyers essentially. They don't do any damage really once they're down. But I won plenty of games by picking up a squad jumps out, does its business. The remaining 2 or 3 members hop back in, fly over to an objective. It's very difficult to beat. It's essential to my force, really. How important speed is.
Such maneuverability.
Yeah, it's excellent. Being able to outflank in that is fantastic in the deployment phase. But being able to react in the end game is crucial. Yeah.
It helps when you've got mobility here in the Sicker and Arcus. Then you've got no scattered deep strikes available from your Damocles, plus the orbital strike, just a bit of a bonus, really. And then, of course, you've got your Whirlwind Scorpius, which is not common. They're a great unit, but you just don't see them around much.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe it's because they can't be squadroned, but probably, yeah, they are a fantastic unit. I haven't used it that much, to be honest. I've used it in maybe a couple of games, but it's usually kind of weighing up. Do I want the Volkite Culverins, which are fantastic, or do I want the Scorpius? So it's always a toss up between those two.
And last little thing we'll point out is obviously Leviathan has his own Dreadnought drop pod back there. Again, just getting it into the battle without it getting shot to death sort of scenario.
Yeah, and I find that, like we spoke about before, that I don't have that many big combat units. The Leviathan is my scary kind of unit. I find it always pays to be aggressive with the Leviathan, and having the maneuverability of the other Dreadclaws, I can always support him with Terminators if I need to, or a tactical squad or what have you. So I like to get it up in someone's face as quickly as I can, and take pressure away from my other units and allow me to capture objectives. Wherever I like. So he does play an important role in my 3K list. He does work for me. He doesn't necessarily kill a bunch, but he takes a lot of attention, and he's tough to kill. He's hard to kill.
They're a great distraction unit. Whenever you drop a Leviathan down, and a Leviathan and an Arcus in the same list, immediately all the guns in the army are pointing at them. Meanwhile, they're forgetting there's probably a good 30 plasma guns in this army. At least, even if they're only one use only, they're out there. And it's probably, with all the Elf Legion rules, probably going to account for nearly 30 kills with them.
Yeah, they're deadly. I do kill a lot of my own dudes from overheating, especially with the Terminators for some reason. But it's definitely worth it. And like I said before, on the Tartarus, it's fantastic. The Zone Mortalis spin, able to get that Overwatch ballistic skill. It's brilliant.
Well, thank you very much for showing your army. Always appreciate it, dude. And we'll play again soon.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, Marco.